So if anybody has any sleep remedies, let me know. Something your grandmother told you, something you read in a book, eat this bark, suck on this leaf. Since I came back from the US, sleep hasn't been great. Fall asleep pretty quick, wake up at about 1, 1:30, and then that's pretty much it. But then you got a choice. I heard someone once say that laying in bed waiting to fall asleep, if it goes more than 25 minutes, laying in bed and trying to fall asleep is like going to sit at the table waiting to get hungry. So I started doing a bit of research for some of the live streams I've got coming up, and then there was a Lakers game on, Lakers Pelicans, so I watched the first half of that. They played very well. I think franchise record of 3 points scored in the first quarter, 15 or something. Anyway, in the office early, so I've gotten to a point where I don't get frustrated with it anymore. It hasn't happened for a while. Touch wood. Hopefully it changes again soon, just kind of getting back from the US, getting back into the swing of things. Head is super busy, so that's why it's taking a lot of time to research and get stuff out. But yeah, sleep's one of those things. So come into the office early, get work done, go home a bit early, train, and hopefully try and get back into the rhythm. That said, also just thinking about it, a little bit of my supplementation has changed as well, so maybe something to look at. I had a nice regime going before, training, Anyway, is what it is, not complaining. But the one thing that I am working on, and so I'm starting live streams, right? If you haven't checked on the previous episodes, starting live streams. So the Wild Eye one was going to happen tonight, Wednesday, moved it to next week because of load shedding. I've got no power at home. So Monday, this coming Monday at 5 o'clock Central African time. I think if you're in LA, it's about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the evening, and so on and so forth. These will be recorded and put onto the YouTube channel as well for Wild Eye. My first coaching one and kind of life and all of this stuff is this Friday morning. So every Friday I'm going to try and do one of those. And this first week, I'm just going to touch on getting out of your own way, because that applies to pretty much all of us, right? For good and bad. And then next week, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a live stream with ideas on anxiety. So I've been listening to a couple of podcasts, just kind of gathering information, not just for the live stream, for clients and so on and so forth as well, but just a mind map of how anxiety works. Let me just bounce this off you. An emotional response to perceived threat or stresses triggers the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, activates the sympathetic nervous system, leading to physical sensations such as increased heart rate, sweating, and rapid breathing, can cause cognitive distortions and negative thinking patterns such as catastrophizing, overgeneralization, and black and white thinking, #overthinking, can lead to avoidance behaviors and a reduced quality of life, can be managed through various techniques such as therapy, medication, coaching, mindfulness, and lifestyle changes. I think we all know what it feels like. But yesterday I was listening to a podcast and it stimulated new thoughts and where the direction that they were taking the conversation. And it has to do with habits, habit loops, and how there's a school of thought that anxiety is also a habit. Like if you go through something bad, you've got trauma, whatever it is, right? And you get anxious, or you start getting anxious because you have to go and present at school, you have to go and do a speech at your office, or you got a big project, whatever. You start getting anxious for them. So, habit loop, wake up in the morning, go to the bathroom, and then I start worrying. This thing's happening. Do that long enough, and it becomes a habit. That the moment you wake up and you go to the bathroom and you start your day, you start getting anxious. You've created a habit. That's not great, right? That's kind of messed up, actually. And then it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. Like if you have something that you're anxious about, and it could be GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, where you just have this baseline idling anxiety all the time. But the best thing to do is to do something. Act. Yeah? Do something. Do an action. Go and try and speak to someone. Just do something. But then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you'll go sit down and start stressing about shit, and your brain's like, okay, cool. I am actually doing something here. I'm thinking, I'm worrying about it. Yeah? Now, worry and anxiety is not always the same thing. One kicks the other one into gear, and then they feed off each other. So, anyway, quick deep dive. So yeah, I'm just prepping for next week's live stream. This is whatever the date is. What's today? 7th to the 24th on my live stream. I'm going to talk about anxiety. This week, getting out of your own way. Just kind of looking at a whole bunch of stuff and putting it together in how you need to get out of your own way in order to be better. I've written about this in newsletters. I've done videos about this. It's often the case. Basic example, anything you want to do in life or anything that you have to do. So let's say, and I run like a brick. I swim like a brick as well. But let's say I want to run a marathon. And I'm going to tell you about my marathon because I've read somewhere that if I tell people about the thing I'm going to do, it holds me accountable and it puts more pressure on me in a good way to make this thing happen. But while I tell you I'm going to run a marathon, I also say to you, listen, my hamstring's been giving me a little bit of problems the last while, but still, I'm going to run this marathon. What have I done? I've already given you and myself an excuse both ways. If I fail, if I don't do the marathon, I've already given you the excuse that my hamstring was sore. That's why. I don't have to come after the fact. I've led with that. More than that, if I then do the thing, my ego's happy because I can say to you, even though my hamstring was sore, I still did this thing. Get the fuck out of your own way. Stop doing shit like that. It just adds too much emotional baggage to this whole thing. So, yeah, interesting one there. Talking about that this week. What else? World's messed up if you look at news. Lakers won, which is good. Yay. Might make the playoffs, or the play-in tournament at least. But the news worldwide is just so messed up. It's, you can't... Do you actually watch news? I don't do questions of the day much, but do you actually watch the news? Do you get emotionally offended when you see stuff that you don't agree with? I don't know. You lose. Nothing's going to change. Anyway, I try and avoid news. I touch base on the points just to kind of know what's happening and what's relevant so I know the direction. More than that, not interested. I heard a thing a little while ago as well where someone was saying how we watch, for example, the war on Ukraine or train accidents or fucking... whatever it is, all these big events, shootings or riots, whatever it is, right? I'll sit here in my house in Johannesburg, I'll see these things on the news, and I'm like, holy shit, this is bad. And I start spiraling downhill. But then I stay in that mindset. I walk outside, and it's beautiful blue skies, lovely clouds building, there's birds singing. That's my reality. So it's with social media, we've gotten to a point where everything is so interlinked that we are basically... better. We are basically being fed anxiety and stress and emotional negativity all day long. I think we have to choose whether we eat it or not. Taste it, so you know what it is, but then say no thank you. I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole different discussion. Okay, I'm going to get to work. Newsletter coming out this weekend. Check out the live streams. Go to the YouTube channel under the live tab, both on Wilder and on my own feed. Then I'll see you there. Those will be recorded as well. They do have Q&A aspects to it. But that's it for now. Travel update very quickly. Just seeing Dixon behind me over here. There he is. In 2 weeks' time, I'm off to the Serengeti and to the Mara and then to South Africa for a private guided trip. Be sharing from there. I'm going to be doing these videos as well. Back for a couple of weeks. Then I'm going to the Okavango Delta with another private group. And then I'm back for a couple of weeks. Then I go to Svalbard. All the time I'll be doing these, creating content. The lives, just on that, will keep going. I'm going to pre-record some of them when necessary, and they'll keep on going out every Monday and Friday for Wilder and for coaching. I'm going to go. I'm talking too much. Have a good day. Take care of yourself. Bye.